So today, what I want to do is talk about how to compound your months. So, you know, you can keep building on the momentum of all the work that you did last month. So normally what happens is it's kind of like a cycle is you get to the end of the month and you rush and you rush and you rush and you rush to try and hit goals because they're just so close. So you're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Well, what if we took that exact same drive and energy that you finished with last month and you started today? Because today is the first. Today is the first day of this month. What if you did the next 3 days the exact same way you did yesterday and the day before? If your last 3 days of the month were exactly the same as your first 3 days of the month, think about how much differently and how much more that would compound and push you into momentum for the following month. So I've got some questions that I want to ask you that will help you with compounding your month over month over month. So these are things that you should ask yourself at the beginning of each month. And the first one is, are you growing and getting better? See, you guys have committed to growing and getting better. That's why you're on here. That's why you're doing personal development. That's why you're doing leadership development, because you want to get better. So you are taking that first step of the month by plugging in, growing, getting better, changing your mindset, expanding your thoughts. So you have done that. You've got that one. So you can check that one off. The next thing you have to think about is, am I adding value to my team? Guys, you need to look for ways to make your team better. First it starts out with, am I growing and am I getting better? Then it's the focus on, how are you adding value? How are you taking what you're growing and getting better and then feeding it into the people in your team, the people that are around you? Because when your goal is to make them better, to help your team get better, to help your team hit goals, you will compound and help yourself and help your goals along the way. So when you are looking at your team, look for ways that you can plan out through the month to help them grow just like you are. So if they're not on here learning with you, why not? Have you invited them? Have you helped implement growth things for your team? Sometimes we talk about the tips and tricks and the hows to do things, but sometimes we also need to plug in the why to do things, because if we're not helping expand their why, they may not push through the how part of it. So what are you doing at the beginning of the month to help fuel your team? So 1, you are growing yourself. 2, you're adding value and making your team better. 3, you have to ask yourself, am I taking care of today? A lot of people push things off till tomorrow, but what if tomorrow never comes? There's this common thought that if I don't do 100% today, I can do 120% tomorrow. Well, that is a mathematical fallacy because of the fact that you can never give more than 100%. So for you, you can push through as much as you can today to get things done. And then the overflow goes to tomorrow. If that happens too many times, people get overwhelmed, they get frustrated because they're not taking care of today what they should take care of today. So take a look and find out, what are the core things that you want to accomplish each day, and then make sure you're taking care of them. It's super simple. We talk about it all the time, that there's just a handful of things in your business that you have to do consistently to become successful. Normally, it's about a half dozen things. So for you, find out what those half dozen things are for you, because they may be different than what they are for others. But also, again, go back and teach your team, what are the half dozen things that they need to do per day to be successful, to achieve the goals and the dreams that they're striving for? What are those actionable things, those 6 things that you can do repeated every single day that compound to success. And make sure you're taking care of those each day. And guess what? It is okay every once in a while for them to overflow in the next day. We're not expecting perfection. We are expecting that you try and you do and you go and you strive to achieve hitting those things every single day. But we know that everybody has those days, and that's okay. But don't let those days compound. Because if you keep putting things off, eventually you put them off until you no longer do them, and then you quit. Another thing is that the earlier in the month that you make a decision, the easier it will be to go through the month. So if you know what your goal is within the first 3 days of the month, it's so much easier to do the remaining days of the month because you already have that figured out. If you get to the 15th of the month and you're just starting to figure out what it is you want to do for the month, you've missed 15 days that you could compound actions and activities to get to that goal. So the earlier that you decide, the easier it will be, the more it will compound, the greater your focus and actions can be to leverage what you're trying to accomplish. And now here's one that's really, really interesting. Am I investing in the right people? You know, we talk about the circle of people that you're around, the people that you're working with. How do you know if you're investing in the right ones? Well, sometimes it's hit or miss. You don't know until you don't know. So you're working with people thinking that it's going to produce a return, but then it doesn't. How do you figure that out sooner rather than later? Well, it comes down to actions and activities. Are they doing the things that you're asking, the things that you're doing, the things that you're leading? Your team, when you are doing things, are they reciprocating what it is that you're doing? See, the people that reciprocate the most are the ones that you should be following up with and having the most interaction with, pouring the most time into, because those are the ones that will create a greater return for your time. See, when you have people that are time sucks, that do nothing that you ask, but continually try to hijack your time, they constantly message you, but then you give them the information, you give them the answers, and then they do nothing with it. Make sure that you are starting to limit that time because your personal time is valuable. They're okay when you're doing group trainings and large gatherings and when you're disseminating information to everybody, but guard your personal time, your personal mentorship to the people that are actually hungry, the ones that are actually taking what you're teaching them and moving forward, because you can't help everyone. You can give information to everyone, but you only have so many hours in a day. So take some time to do group mentorship, to do group trainings, to get as many people involved as possible. But then at the same time, you need to have some small time carved out for intense, deep mentorship for the people that you are building, the people, that next level of leadership that you are raising up. Because even though you can't help everyone, you can help someone. But here's another thing. If you help the right one, you can help many. You can multiply. See, if you help train that one person that has the capacity to help 10 more people, and in there, that one person has the capacity to help 5 more people, and you are just teaching one, that is where the multiplication of teaching and duplication takes effect. So guys, here is a great way to compound your month. Let's review. You need to grow and get better. You need to genuinely care for others, by adding value to them and asking yourself, how can I make my team better? How are you going to make your team better? You're going to do it by taking care of things today. You are going to do what you can today to make tomorrow better. How are you going to do that? By making decisions earlier in the month. The sooner that you have the ability to make a decision, the better track record you will have going through the month and having more time to accomplish the goal that you have. Then you need to ask yourself, are you investing in the right people? Are you spending your time wisely? You can't make more time, so take the time that you have and invest it correctly. Understand that you can't help everyone, but you can help someone. And when you help the right one, you can multiply all the things that you're doing. So when you see somebody that is taking the information that you're teaching and disseminating it and multiplying it into others, pay attention that that's the one person that you should be spending a little bit more time on, a little bit more mentorship time, coming alongside of them and developing them to that next level leader. Because if you prepare and do more at the beginning of the month, I guarantee you that the end of your month will be more successful. Guys, go out and make it an amazing day. And I hope your month is as awesome as you are.